Hello South Bunbury members and supporters. We're here today to talk to one Colin Buswell, a lifetime member of South Bunbury and a life member of South Bunbury. So good to catch up with you today, Colin, to have a chat.
No worries, Oldie. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
I've been here a while, but I'm glad to be here.
As you have. So to start it off, how did you become involved with South Bunbury?
I'm born and bred into the whole thing, Pete. As I was saying earlier, my father had a nomination form ready the day I was born and posted it on the notice board as you had to in those days. So I've been a member for 75 plus years.
So in that 2 weeks, no one
no one kicked me out.
No.
I wasn't named at the time, and he called me Young Vesty.
On the nomination
on
form?
The nomination form. Still have it at home.
Yeah,
very well handwritten in ink, of course.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Good story. Jeez. So, from your younger days, what's your playing history at South Bunbury?
Oh, very short. No, I was always a very keen footballer.
Yeah.
Wanted to go. Started playing when I was 12. We used to come over to Hands Over. They didn't have any games at that stage, and you just come and train.
Yeah.
Uncle George Hay was the man,
Yeah.
and hundreds of kids running around out there, but no games. And then they got an under-16s competition going. So they had a lot of kids, of course, to play in that, and we had too many for South Bunbury, so South Bunbury had another team, Wendover Vale.
Yes.
So I started off with that, 12 years of age in the under-16s, and away we went. And then just progressed through the age groups, but unfortunately when I got to 16 or thereabouts, all the other kids kept growing. And as per Buswell's, we stayed very short.
Yeah.
So from there on it was a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
But I played a reserves game when I was 16.
Yeah.
First game we ever played at Margaret River.
Yeah.
Down there,
Yeah.
1966. We won the reserves that day by 16 goals or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I remember that. And then I won a junior premiership in 1967 under Bobby Bond as coach of the under-18s. And from thereafter, no, not much. I played some reserves games, but the end of 1970, I was getting married.
Yeah.
So we were setting that up. We were building a house, and so just football playing went by the side.
Yeah. Well,
so it was over.
Yeah.
I was 21 and it was all over.
Well, we'll touch on a few of the things because it's not just about the football that you play on the field. It's all the other things you've done after that. So hopefully you're going to expand on it a little bit later on.
No problem.
Yep. So obviously you touched on it before. Your name, your surname, Buswell.
Yeah.
From the Buswell clan. So from your perspective, what's the link between the Buswells and the tradition of the family name and yourself?
It's huge, really, when you actually stop and think about it. My father's a life member. His two brothers are life members. Their father is a life member. My wife's a life member. And then you go over to my mum's side of the family, the Gibsons. Well, both my grandparents are life members.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, two of her brothers are life members, and numerous cousins.
Yeah.
So really I didn't have any chance.
No.
I was locked in here, with the membership thing and just the family. Our whole life was just around football. Dad was still playing. He played up until he was about 38.
Yeah.
And he was part-time team manager when he didn't get a game, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because he just loved it. He'd turn up every week with his Gladstone bag, with his gear in it in case somebody dropped out, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we used to go over to Mrs. Scott, I think her name was, who lived over in Rathmines, and she washed the jumpers.
Yeah.
So every Sunday morning we'd go over there, pick up the trunk full of jumpers, and bring them to the game, and take them back on Monday morning. Yes. Into it from a very early age.
Yeah. And as you touched on, the the Buswells and the Gibsons. Yeah.
Well, I found out that the original Buswell and the original Gibson, when they arrived here, and when they both got married here, they were each other's best man.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose
yeah.
there wasn't many people in Bunbury when that happened, so
yeah. Now, moving on from that, you mentioned all the life members. You're obviously life member in 1984, you told me earlier.
Yes, 1984.
Yeah. So what has been your personal involvement with the club, other than your illustrious playing career?
Well, I had a few years away from footy, although Jan and I used to come and watch every Sunday. We'd come and watch, but I had about 4 years away, and I got right into basketball.
Yep.
And really I was enjoying that, and did a bit of team manager with basketball.
Yep.
And which progressively got heavier and heavier. And then one Monday morning, I had Merv Kennedy. He'd been appointed coach for 1975, and I had him on my doorstep, 7 o'clock in the morning, wanting me to be his team manager.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, righto, I'll do that. And then, of course, Merv pulled the pin, and sport took over. So, but they kept me on, so I did that for 15, 18 years.
Yeah.
Team manager, and then I became the club secretary, or general manager as they now call them, and did that for about 3 years. But I found that quite difficult because I was still working, and it's really, nowadays it is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And in the end I just got worn out. So.
Yeah.
But since then I've been doing the timekeeping for the league side for 30 years.
Yeah, 30.
30 years, 1993 I started that.
Yeah.
So, I also do the budget notes, of course.
Tiger B?
Under the Tiger B name.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for 50 years. Started that in 1975.
Wow. Yeah.
It took over from big baldy Bill Constantine.
Wow, yeah.
Who
big
was,
shoes to fill.
Oh, they were.
Yeah,
And
in two ways.
He was called Tiger,
Yeah.
so I was Tiger B.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't done it all the time. Chunky helps me out quite a bit when we were away travelling and things like that. So, yeah, you know, you do what you can. But if you can remember, in those days we used to have a couple of quiz nights every year.
Yeah.
So we did them, we organised them, and then we had the players' review.
Yeah.
Well, they were a rocket through the 80s. You know, well, I used to be the MC for those. And,
yes.
Gee, we had a ball, didn't we? We had a ball.
Oh, some of those nights. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, wherever I can around the club, it's many hands make light work, isn't it, these days? So you're always doing something.
Yeah.
So, and there's probably other things I've done which I've completely forgotten.
No.
But however,
some of those things you mentioned, 30 years, 50 years,
that's a long time.
Huge commitment to
and
the club.
The thing I did like about that, like when I was team manager, we had some good teams, good sides back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Very good sides, and just the comradeship we got out of that, we've still got.
Yeah.
You know, you have a reunion and all these blokes and all the memories come flooding back, and you have a look and say, where did that 40 years go?
Yeah. But it's lifelong. That
connection.
It
is.
Particularly with those premiership years.
It is.
And you're part of that.
Yeah. And which I'm eternally grateful that as a team manager, I'm right in that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So obviously all of those years watching footy for South Bunbury, who would you rate as the best player you've seen?
Oh, you make it hard, Ollie.
Because there's a few. There's been a few.
Look, just going through a few. Back in the 60s when I first come to footy and used to watch it, you know, Teddy Hoskin drop kicking goals out of the centre.
Yeah.
Bob Farquhar and Ronnie Buswell.
Yeah.
You know, these blokes. Sid Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember him playing. He was electrifying.
Yes.
And then we graduated through to the 70s where we had Terry House and Merv Kennedy, and then you yourself and Lee Wright come on the scene midway through the 70s. Then we had the 80s, which, as I said before, we had Baker and Upson, and I forgot to mention Alan Prosser too. I reckon.
Oh,
he
yes.
He was a hurler. David
Holland's.
Holland's, Mickey Grassway, Sandover medalists.
Yeah.
You don't get that every day, and right through until today, we still have really good. Tom Gorder's a very good footballer, but your question was
Yes.
and I will always say this: you've got to ask the right question.
Yeah.
The answer to that is Leon Baker's my pick as the best player that I've seen here. Not that he was not flashy, not outstanding. He was just handled the ball clean and he did what a footballer had to do.
Yeah.
I'd like to get hold of his junior coach actually and get him to take some kids, because I reckon he must have taught Leon exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Because he was just how he went from this level to state level to AFL level.
Yeah.
And didn't miss a beat.
No.
Just was a very good footballer all the way.
Yeah.
A good, solid footballer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love him.
Yeah, and the thing...
Top bloke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing with Bates, from my perspective, he always played good in big games.
Didn't he? What?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could always rely on Bates. Yeah.
I can remember one stage when, because Doug Peake was instrumental in getting him here in the first place, or part of that, and then Doug fell out of favour and went off and coached Bustleton.
Yep.
And one year, I think it must have been in 1980, we played Bustleton down there, and Doug was the opposition coach and Duper was our coach, and Baker played. At the end of the day, I was talking to Doug after the game, and he said, "Well, I think we did a pretty good job on Baker."
Yeah.
I said, yeah, if you consider that he kicked 7 goals is a good job. He said, I didn't notice him that much.
Yeah. And that's how he played.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So on the same sort of theme, and mention one of the coaches that I've got a lot of time for, Doug Peake. Who's the best coach that you've come across at your time at South?
Oh, no, just the way he set things up was Jerry McNeil.
Yeah.
He was a perfectionist in that. I can remember the team managers, all 3 of us for the 3 grades, and all the 3 coaches. I think it was all the 3 runners. He called us all into a meeting before pre-season, so it was in January. Yeah, so we're all in this meeting, and he pulls out this spreadsheet, and it had everything on it that we were going to be doing for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Oh yes, on this date we'll be doing run-throughs across the ground, at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's how organised he was, and that's how his coaching career went here.
Yeah.
Whatever he said, we did, and we won. In the whole time he was here, I think he only coached 2 losing sides.
Yeah.
2 losing games.
Yeah, it's...
And Ray Rendell never let him forget that.
He lost 2.
He lost 2.
Well, with his methods, as you mentioned, he was way ahead of his time.
He was, yeah. But, honourable mention to, I thought Duper was very good, a hard man.
Tough.
But he knew a lot about football.
Yeah.
And he knew a lot about people's psyche.
Yep.
And he worked on that.
Yeah, no, he certainly did. I know.
Sure you do.
And so going along with the same theme, with obviously the best player, best coach, you've seen a lot of successful South Bunbury teams. Which would be the team that stands out in all of that history that you've seen? The team that stands out as the best team that you've seen?
Yeah, no, that 1984 one was, I thought, was very good, despite those 2 losses.
Yeah.
But not only the league team, we won the whole 3 grades in that year, and it was just tremendous. With along with Brent Roberts and Johnny Carter as the coaching staff, they worked together really well. Yeah. And I thought about the 1976 side and the undefeated sides of what were they? 81 and
80,
88, 85 and 88.
Yeah.
Geez, we had some good sides in those 80s, as I was saying.
And last year.
Well, yeah. we won 6 grand finals in the 80s.
Yeah.
Tremendous. You know,
Yeah.
considering there's 9 other teams at the time that we had to beat, and certainly wanted to beat us.
Yeah, it was a great era.
Yeah, it certainly was.
And so, same thing, the best grand final win.
Oh, 1976. That was, you were part of that. You were
Yes,
you
was only a pup.
You were a pup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the beauty of that side, 1970. We obviously weren't expected to win, but we had a good balance of young players
Yep.
and a good balance of veterans,
Yep.
and of course some in between.
Yeah.
But you know, with Dave Palmer and Dave Waldock leading the ruck, and you and Lee Wright as our ruck rovers.
Yep.
Gee, I wouldn't like to be playing against those 4 these days.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Very, very solid. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the minute that first 30 seconds when the ball just come down and Brent Roberts went through, I knew we were on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, usually I'm a little bit of a worrier about that, but gee, that first 30 seconds, I thought, oh, we're going.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, it's, 1976 is my
Yeah.
best grand final win.
Yeah. And we weren't really favourites to win that, were
Oh, 5-1,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And a few people got it.
Yeah. So you already mentioned 84. Would that be your favourite year for the club?
Yeah, that time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that time, just the way we were set up and the way we were going. Those players we had playing then, and there was talk of it going into the waffle.
Yes.
We were playing that well.
Yeah.
I'd have no doubt that those teams, if you could, play against a waffle team today, we would give a very good account of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And with all of your wealth of experience and time here,
That just means I'm old.
yeah, yeah. What are some of the memorable moments that you've had at the footy club here?
My favourite moment was that 2016 grand final.
Yeah.
Just for one reason, is Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
He'd been through a hell of a lot health-wise leading up to those years, and
Yeah.
he was getting towards the end, and he played a ripper game, won the Pike medal.
Yeah.
And,
Amazing.
it was very emotional, and,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he was very emotional too.
Yeah.
But after a few beers, of course, we lost the emotion and went mad.
Yeah. Yeah. As you do.
Just that. And I thought Mark Docking did a very good job with that side to get us through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was terrific.
Yeah. Any other memorable moments in? You mentioned things like we had some fun at the club with some of the quiz nights.
Ollie, some things have got to stay.
Okay.
You can't. I was very fortunate. I went on quite a few players' trips.
Yeah.
And even then, you can't mention what happens
Yeah.
on those, but they were great. You know, they say they're great team building exercises. Of course they are.
Yeah.
You get to know people off the field as well as what they do on the field. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, some of the memorable characters and people.
Oh yeah, plenty of those, isn't there, over a period of time?
Yeah.
Sidney Armstrong. Look,
Oh.
Sid was a person that would do everything and anything around the football club.
Yeah.
Because he just loved it. He only lived over here in Paisley Street, I think, and he would be here most days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either cleaning out the change rooms or cleaning up around the club.
Yeah.
Just doing all that. Then you had our secretary back in the day, Bob Hanna.
Yeah.
Bob was one of the most organised people I'd ever seen. He'd done the job at the surf club previous to coming here, and when I eventually took over as secretary, all Bob's records were still available.
Yeah.
Had them all sorted, categorised, everything. You know. That was very good, and we were able to actually sort out a lot of the club's history from that stuff that Bob had. And, Steve Colf and myself went through a lot of that and sorted it out, and we were able to finally get everything all together.
Yeah.
And while I mentioned Crowe, with what he's done, he's been able to get hold of, just through sheer research and doggedness, I think.
Yeah.
He's got every result that the club's ever played in.
Yeah, it's amazing again, isn't it?
Yeah, that you can get the result of an 1897 game,
Yep.
you know, played at the Rec probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got all that. He's found it.
Yeah.
And it's available. To anybody who wants to know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you can bring it up and let them have it.
He's got a spreadsheet, collated all the players,
every
league reserves.
Yep,
tops.
every player.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he did it by just going back through on the internet, and there's a website called Shrove.
Yeah.
And he went back through that, and you just punch in South Bunbury Football Club, and it brings up everything that was ever written
Yeah.
about South Bunbury.
Yeah.
So you sort the wheat from the chaff, and we end up with all this information. Yeah.
Amazing job for the club, the historical value
well,
to the club.
as is what you and Watto and the crew are doing with these.
Yeah.
It's putting the history into place for people in the future.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, you're really on the right track, and keep it up, doing a good job.
Oh, thanks, Colin.
Oh, that's all right.
Thanks, Stephen. So, looking into the future then, what do you see the future for South Bunbury?
Well, it always will be bright.
Yep.
Because it always has been bright. Obviously, those people back in 1897 that kicked it off had a bit of foresight, and just the things like they had the original South Way Hall down near the highway, and then they sold that and built the other South Way just across the little road from that back in the 1950s, I think, and then to go from that to this building here today. Yeah, they had foresight, and I can still remember a long-time president and life member of the club in Sav Davies telling me, he said, one thing you've got to do, he says, you've got to always be hungry.
Yep.
He said, we've always got to be in debt, and we always got to want, and that's what I think the club always does. It always strives to be better, and not only off the football field, but on the football field. Those times we were talking about back in the 80s where, you know, people were getting upset with us because we were winning all these grand finals, and there was talk of ways and means to bring us back to the field. But and again, I don't know who. I can't think who said it. No, it's got to go the other way. They've got to catch up to us.
Yes.
It's the only way to do it. And so I'm sure the board we have at present time is a very forward-thinking board. We've now become where we've got 4 football teams to look after, including 5, including the veterans. And we've got 5 or 6 netball teams. We have Auskick, Star Kick. So the club is huge now in what it's got to control, and the number of people involved is really big. So you do have to be. You can't just be thinking football and this. You've got to be on the ball, thinking way ahead and how to maximise this. And I have faith in the current board that that's what they will do. Look ahead. I think we're on the right track.
Oh, excellent, mate. Excellent. And just going back one step, you mentioned before about your wife Jan being a life member.
Certainly.
I'm sure you'd like to have a shout out to Jan and everything she's put up.
Look, if I don't.
Yeah, absolutely, and so do I.
Yes, well, you'll probably cop it as well.
No,
certainly.
In all seriousness,
When she first came to Bunbury, she was 7 years of age, and her and her parents and sister lived here at the Oval in a caravan. Well, it was a caravan park. So for the first couple of years, while they were waiting for their house to be built, they lived in this caravan here. So obviously it was inevitable. And shortly after that, we met when at a very young age. She was 15, I was 17, and yeah, because I was playing footy, she came along to the footy. So,
Yeah.
and then she became very much involved in the kitchen side of things and the female side of the board and that, because obviously didn't play because there was no women's football back in those days. But I'm sure if there had been,
Yeah.
she would have been there in the back pocket,
Yeah.
running up the ground, doing an Irish cow impression. No, it's been a very strong and solid support what I have, and we, as a couple, have really enjoyed this football club because it wouldn't be any good if just I liked it
Yeah.
and she didn't,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't be here half as much as I would. And the same token, she loves it, so because she loves it, we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wouldn't have it any other way.
No,
May it continue for another 75 years.
No, well, that's awesome, Colin, and really with the commitment and what yourself and Jan put into the club, you're the backbone with all the others of what makes this club so great. So on behalf of everyone, to Jan and yourself, thank you for your contribution over all those years. It really is amazing what you've done for the club, and we do thank you.
Yep.
And it's great,
No.
great to have a chat to you.
Thank you, Peter. One thing I will say,
Yep.
Jan and I have definitely got a lot more out of this club than we've put into it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a great life.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, thanks, Colin. That really has been a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Thanks for talking, Peter.
Side by side we stick together for the good old Tigers' name. Hear the barricades are shouting as we stand up left and right. For the premiership's a cakewalk.